The House will come to order. This morning, the pledge will be said by Jamale Ornelas from Arupe Jesuit High School in Denver, Colorado.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with
Justice for all. Mr. Randall, please call the roll. Is it, say your name? Jamale. Okay. Great, I'm Casey. Nice to meet you. So are you...
Representatives Arndt, Baisley, Benavidez, Bird, Bockenfeld, Buck, Buckner, Buenzale, Caravale, Carver, Catlin, Champion, Coleman,
Let's go.
Cutter, Duran, Escar, morning, Exum, Froelich, Garnett, Geithner, Gonzalez Gutierrez, Gray, Gray, excused, Herod, Holtorf, Hooten, Hooten, excused, Humphrey, Jackson, Harkes Lewis, Kennedy, Kip, Kraftarp, Kraftarp, Landgraf, Larson, Liston, Lontine, McCluskey. Representative Gray is present. McKean, McLaughlin, Melton, Michelson Janae, Mollica, Neville, Pelton, Ransom, Rich, Roberts, Sane, Sandridge, Singer, Singer, Sirota, Sirota, excused, Snyder, Soper, excused, Sullivan, Tipper, Titone, Valdez A, Valdez D, Van Winkle, Weisman, Will, Williams, Wilson, Woodrow, Young. Madam Speaker.
With 61 present and 4 excused, we have a quorum. Representative Sirota.
Madam Speaker, I move that the Journal of Friday, March 6, 2020 be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk.
You all have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. It makes me laugh every time. The motion passes. Members, can we please have it quiet in the chamber for something from Representative Landgraf?
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, members. And I invite especially the El Paso County contingent to join me down here. So you will see that many of us are wearing blue, those who got the message. I understand everybody can't do that because they're up here and they don't have blue. Or they are wearing blue and they spill something on their shirt. As you know, we've had a little boy missing in El Paso County in Fountain Valley for some time, and I wanted to read what his pastor said that has generated the blue. This was from Pastor Paul from Restoration Church in Fountain. A little less than 6 weeks ago, many people in the Fountain Valley started wearing blue, whether it was clothing or little ribbons or bracelets or whatever form it took, because it was Ganon Stout's favorite color, and we wanted to show that we cared about him and wanted him to come home safely. Now, throughout the Fountain Valley, El Paso County, and literally all over the country, we are wearing blue and lighting blue lights in honor of a precious young life lost, and in hopes that it brings some amount of comfort to his family to know they do not mourn alone. I ask that you continue to pray that his body is found. As you know, his stepmother was arrested for first-degree murder. She is in jail. Hopefully she'll stay there for a long, long time. And I will try to have ribbons on everybody's desk. If we can wear them for the rest of the week, maybe by the end of the week, Ganon will come home to his family. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Landgraf. Any other announcements or introductions? Representative Landgraf.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is a happy announcement. Today, starting at 10:30, the Veterans Entrepreneurs Showcase will be on the second floor. They're sponsored by Bunker Labs, and I know they have everything from beer to drones. You might want to go out and see what they've got. And lunch is being served. They'll be over in the old Supreme Court by 1:30. So stop by, say hi, and see what they're up to.
Representative Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, did any of you have any trouble waking up this morning? Good news is tomorrow morning there's lots of coffee, donuts, and so forth downstairs for our Capitol Commission Bible study. You're welcome to come and have some caffeine.
Representative Singer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On your desk today, you will see a flyer that I've distributed from our Colorado Association of Area Agencies on Aging, talking about life expectancy and strengthening aging services and supports for Colorado's older adults. Take a look at these statistics, members, and if you have any questions about the help that your constituents might need in your geographic area, on the back there's going to be a map with your area agency on aging and a phone number and sometimes even a name there where you can reach out and get assistance for our older adults. This concludes your senior moment today.
Representative Buckner.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We have some special guests in the House today and in the Capitol. Retired employees of Cherry Creek Schools, and the letters spell recess. These are retired employees who are really staying active in knowing what the legislative process is like. And they may be over in the Senate right now, but I do see one person I know up in the balcony, Emmett Cruson. Thanks for being here, and I think the rest of the recess people are over in the Senate, but we want to welcome them to the Capitol today. Thank you.
Any other announcements or introductions? Go ahead. Representative Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. With the approval of the Majority Leader, I will not be here tomorrow, Tuesday, March 10th. I will vastly be excused Tuesday, March 10th.
All right, permission granted. Any others? Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, we are going to consider a resolution to make sure that we can move it over to the Senate. We will have it read at length, and then we will act on the resolution, and then we will speak to it. And I just wanted to give you that quick update.
Introduction of resolutions.
House Joint Resolution 1004 by Representatives Van Winkle and Neville, also Senator Holbert, concerning the designation of a portion of Colorado State Highway 470 from University Boulevard to Santa Fe Road in Douglas County as the Kendrick Castillo Memorial Highway.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move we suspend the rules for immediate consideration of House Joint Resolution 1004.
The question before us is the motion to suspend the rules for immediate consideration of HJR 1004. Is there any objection? Seeing none, the motion passes. Representative Van Winkle.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move HJR 20-1004 and ask that it be read at length.
Whereas Kendrick Castillo, the only child of John and Maria Castillo, was born on March 14, 2001. And whereas as a high school senior, Kendrick attended STEM school Highlands Ranch and served as a 4-year member of the school's robotics team, planned to study electrical engineering in college, and ultimately planned to serve his country as a United States Marine. And whereas on May 7, 2019, Kendrick Castillo was in class at STEM school Highlands Ranch when a student pulled out a gun, demanding that nobody move. And whereas Kendrick Castillo acted fast and lunged at the gunman, giving his classmates time to take cover. And whereas Kendrick Castillo was shot by the gunman and ultimately gave his life to save the lives of countless students that day. And whereas Kendrick was known to be friendly and modest, never saying an unkind word, and it was in his nature to help people. And whereas Kendrick is widely regarded by citizens of the state of Colorado as a true hero. And whereas it is the purpose of this joint resolution to keep the memory of Kendrick Castillo alive so that generations of Coloradans can be inspired by Kendrick's selfless and heroic act, now therefore be it resolved by the House of Representatives of the 72nd General Assembly of the State of Colorado, the Senate concurring herein, that a portion of Colorado State Highway 470 from University Boulevard to Santa Fe Road be named the Kendrick Castillo Memorial Highway in honor of Kendrick's heroic sacrifice, and that the Colorado Department of Transportation may accept and expend gifts, grants, and donations for the purposes of the initial placement of signs to mark the designated section of Colorado State Highway 470 as the Kendrick Castillo Memorial Highway, and that the Colorado Department of Transportation may explore a cooperative agreement with the Board of County Commissioners for Douglas County for the maintenance of signs marking the Kendrick Castillo Memorial Highway. Be it further resolved that copies of this joint resolution be sent to the Colorado Transportation Commission, the Office of Transportation Safety within the Colorado Department of Transportation, and John and Maria Castillo.
Representative Van Winkle.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I ask for the adoption of HJR 20-1004.
The question before us is the adoption of House Joint Resolution 1004. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. The resolution is adopted. Representative Van Winkle.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the current roll call of the House be added as co-sponsors to the resolution.
Seeing no objection, the current roll call will be added as co-sponsors. Representative Van Winkle.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, please be seated. Kendrick has been memorialized across this nation and world already. Before Kendrick's Celebration of Life Memorial last May, more than 600 Jeeps led a caravan to the memorial service of Kendrick Castillo, who was a Jeep enthusiast, as you can see in the photo. NASA made it possible for Kendrick's name to be etched on a chip that will travel on the Mars rover, which will touch down on Mars in February 2021. The Red Cross recognized Kendrick's heroism at the annual Red Cross Heroes Soiree in Denver. John and Maria Castillo accepted the award on his behalf. Before the Heroes Soiree, the Castillos received a call from President Donald Trump, who called Kendrick a hero, invited them to tour NASA and the White House. Kendrick was honored at the Avalanche game on January 18, 2020, in which his parents dropped the ceremonial opening puck of the face-off for the Fallen Officer ceremony. The National Robotics Tournament has been renamed the Kendrick Castillo's Tournament Memorial Tournament for Robotics. The Knights of Columbus honored Kendrick with a posthumous membership at their convention in Minneapolis this year. John 15:13 says, greater love has no one than this, that one lay down his life for his friends. Members, I'll never forget the moment I heard that something terrible was happening at STEM. We just finished a difficult legislative session here and we were all sleep deprived. But my phone quickly lit up with text messages from Senator Holbert and the governor. Upon arriving at the Mobile Police Command Center, it seemed clear that we were facing another Columbine, this time in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. 2 shooters in separate parts of the school that had students ranging from kindergarten to seniors in high school. But thankfully, it was not another Columbine, and we all owe Kendrick a big thank you for that. Kendrick was planning to finish school in just 3 days and graduate when his life was cut far too short. But boy, did he make the most of the days that he was given. He served those around him like a saint. He and his father, John Castillo, documented 2,600 hours of community service. 2,600 hours of community service. Kendrick truly was Christ-like. He did everything 110%. He loved to learn. By the 6th grade, he was helping teachers with all things technology related. And even at STEM, a school specifically for those excelling in seeking engineering degrees, he often knew more about the engineering lab than the teachers themselves. Anything computer related he could figure out. He helped other students and spent so much time helping others that he often needed extra hours outside of school for his own projects. One of his teachers said he was, quote, tenacious and industrious. He was deeply admired by all teachers and fellow students. He was full of love. He loved his parents deeply. He wanted to be just like his dad, John. Kendrick also had a special relationship with his mom that I frankly have no place discussing, but the reunion in heaven will be second to none. In Highlands Ranch and across this state and nation, he will be forever remembered as a true hero who saved countless lives that day. He will be remembered for his sweet heart, gentle demeanor, infectious smile. He'll be remembered for his faith in Christ, for his bravery, selflessness, and integrity. And I'll repeat it once again, the words from our Savior Jesus Christ. Greater love has no one than this, that one lay down his life for his friends. Thank you, Kendrick.
Minority Leader Neville.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members, if you're not familiar with this stretch of highway that we're renaming after Kendrick, the hero, prior to that, it's actually Dave Sanders Memorial Highway. And then the section at Santa Fe that's after that is actually Danny Dietz Highway. And so we're adding another hero, another legend, just after that, kind of encompasses the whole STEM area. I never knew Kendrick, but I've gotten to know John and Maria pretty well, and after getting to know them, it's pretty easy to see why Kendrick was such a hero and didn't hesitate. You hear and read the stories about them actually having conversations about this, and his father saying, "You don't have to be a hero." And Kendrick said, "Well, of course I would. I wouldn't hesitate. That's how you raised me." I just encourage you all to get to know John and Maria. Through them, you kind of get an idea and a glimpse into Kendrick's life and a glimpse into what an amazing human being he was. And just think about what he did that day. I've talked to other heroes that day that responded that day, and they've all said, "I was just doing my job. Kendrick's the hero." He was just sitting in class. He didn't sign up to be a first responder. He was just sitting in class, being a good student, being a good human, and made the ultimate sacrifice so that many other people could continue their lives. And this is just a small token that we can do to honor a wonderful man who would have had an incredibly bright future, but we must not ever forget his name and his heroic actions, and we want them to live on forever. So thank you guys for being here, and thank you for this resolution.
Representative Michelson Janae.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to my colleagues for bringing this important resolution, and thank you, John and Maria, for being here today. This interim, I had the honor of chairing the School Safety Interim Committee, which my colleague from the Highlands Ranch region, I don't know how to call your district, sat on with me, as well as my colleague from Denver. And we saw Mr. Castillo at every single hearing. He represented the family and Kendrick. And often reporters asked us, well, are you doing this as a response to the STEM school shooting and to Kendrick? And the short answer was, well, no, not really. Our school, our legislative body, all of us, have worked on different measures to create school safety every single legislative session, at least since Columbine, probably before. And the STEM shooting and Kendrick lit an extra fire that said, we must act now. And every single hearing, this was a fully bipartisan committee, members. There was, I like to say, there was no one with a thumb on the scale in this committee. This committee was about putting policy above politics, putting Kendrick above others. And I stand here as a mom of 2 children Kendrick's age, one a little bit older, one a little bit younger, and the mother of a United States Marine. And I know in my heart of hearts, Ryan would have done the same thing, because that's the heart of a Marine. We're boots on the ground, we're first responding, we're protecting all of those around. And to Maria, oh, Mommy, my heart is so with you, because every day I say, wow, it's great that he's a Marine, but boy, I don't want him to be a Marine. I want to make sure our children come home. And in Kendrick's name, we stand there. We spent every minute of the summer saying, not one more child dies in school. Not one more child. I'm so grateful to Kendrick for all of the children he saved. But Mommy, I'm so sorry that you lost your boy. And we will forever remember him in this chamber. And we will forever be grateful to your sacrifice for this country. Thank you.
Representative Singer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. You know, there are days like this where we stop and we think about what this means to all of us. And many of you maybe remember the conversation that I brought up when we were discussing a different bill when Kendrick's parents were here. And I want to remind you of those words because they still resonate in my head, because we will always remember the heroism on that day. But I think it's also important that we remember the person that Kendrick was. He was an adult who never lost his innocence. And I want to use those words to hopefully inspire my work, to hopefully never lose our innocence, because when we started out as people who wanted to run for office, there was an ideal. There was an ideal that each of us held. They could be different things, but they are all ultimately the same. And that is that we want to do what's best for our constituents and what's right for everybody. And so as we work to not lose that innocence, my commitment is to blame less and work harder together, not only to solve the issue as it relates to school safety, but every single issue, because if we can't figure it out on every single issue, we will never figure it out on how to make sure that our kids are kept safe. And to the family, I want to thank you for just coming back and coming back and coming back and not letting go of your ideals and reminding us to not lose our own innocence. And to the members here, we've been through so many funerals. And we remember this, and there will be a name that goes up on a highway, but I will say to Kendrick's family and extended family, please don't forget them after today and the next day and the next day, because we will be here talking about this today, but 6 months and 4 days from now, 6 years and 1 day from now, something will come up again. Don't hesitate to reach out. And that's how we're going to make sure that we don't lose our innocence in this process, is reminding each other of our own humanity. So I stand in strong support of this resolution, and I want to thank the sponsors, but I also want to thank Kendrick and his family for their continued sacrifice and their willingness to stand up and be here today.
Representative Sane.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And it's highly appropriate that we have a highway of heroes. John Castillo said we should remember the heroes and not the evil. We should remember the hero and not glorify those who would steal and take life from us. So it's very appropriate that we have a stretch of highway so that other children, and in fact all of us as adults, can take heart from a hero like Kendrick Castillo that would lay down his life for his friends, the highest ideal. So I thank the sponsors again for bringing this resolution. I strongly support it.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Seeing none, Representative Van Winkle.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I ask for a brief recess so we can greet the family.
Minority Leader Neville.
Members, so we are joined here on the side. We have John and Maria Castillo, if you could please stand as well. And we're also joined by fellow teachers and friends of Kendrick who are here, so please give them a hand, and thanks for being here. And
thank you so much for being here, and we are all so sorry for your loss. The House will stand in a brief recess. The House will come back to order. Any other announcements or introductions? Majority Leader Garnett. Okay. So that brings us to third reading of bills, final passage. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 32.
Senate Bill 32 by Senator Holbert, also Representatives McKeon and Esker, concerning the age of employees authorized to sell alcohol beverages at establishments licensed to sell alcohol beverages at retail.
Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 32 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 32 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members please vote. Please close the machine. With 64 aye votes, no votes, and 1 excuse, Senate Bill 32 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Please read the title of House Bill 1058.
House Bill 1058 by Representative Froelich, also Senator Bridges, concerning services performed by a board-certified behavior analyst for students during school hours.
Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1058 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1058 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and please vote. My machine isn't working, so I vote yes. Please close the machine. With 64 aye votes, no votes, and 1 excused, House Bill 1058 is passed. Co-sponsors. I'd like to co-sponsor. Please close the machine. Please read the title of Senate Bill 14.
Senate Bill 14 by Senator Fields, also Representatives Michelson, Janae, and Cutter, concerning excused absences in public schools resulting from behavioral health concerns.
Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 14 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 14 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members please vote. Representative Michelson, Janae, please go vote. Please close the machine. With 64 aye votes, no votes, and 1 excused, Senate Bill 14 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Please read the title of House Bill 1291.
House Bill 1291 by Representative Tipper, also Senator Gardner, concerning the Uniform Collaborative Law Act.
Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1291 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1291 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members please vote. Please close the machine. With 63 aye votes, 1 no vote, and 1 excuse, House Bill 1291 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1281.
House Bill 1281 by Representatives Pelton and Valdez D, also Senator Heisey, concerning the salary categorization of locally elected officers in specified counties.
Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1281 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1281 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Randall, please open the machine. Members, please vote. Please close the machine. With 62 aye votes, 2 no votes, and 1 excuse, House Bill 1281 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Please read the title of Senate Bill 152.
Senate Bill 152 by Senators Zenzinger and Woodward, also Representative Valdez D, concerning correction of the effective clause of Senate Bill, date clause of Senate Bill 19263 for the purpose of ensuring the bill accomplishes its intended legal effect of limiting the requirement that the state treasurer execute lease purchase agreements to fund transportation projects in the 2021-22 state fiscal year. For a referred ballot measure that authorizes the state to issue transportation revenue anticipation notices is approved of the 2020 general election.
Very impressive. Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Well done, Mr. Randall. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 152 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 152 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members please vote. Catlin. Please close the machine. With 64 aye votes, no no votes, and 1 excused, Senate Bill 152 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Please read the title of House Bill 1194.
House Bill 1194, Representatives Exum and Will, Senators Quorum and Story, concerning extension of the period during which the voluntary designation benefiting the American Red Cross Colorado Disaster Response Readiness Preparedness Fund will appear on the state individual income tax return form.
Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1194 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1194 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members please vote. Holtorf. Please close the machine. With 63 aye votes, 1 no vote, and 1 excused, House Bill 1194 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Please read the title of House Bill 1191.
House Bill 1191 by Representatives McLaughlin and Soper, Senator Story and Quorum, concerning the creation of the Outdoor Recreation Industry Office in the Office of Economic Development.
Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1191 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1191 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members please vote. Please close the machine. With 44 aye votes, 20 no votes, and 1 excused, House Bill 1191 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Please read the title of House Bill 1208.
House Bill 1208 by Representatives Robertson, Willow, Senator Donovan, concerning the continuation of the Coal Mine Board of Examiners in connection with implementing the recommendations contained in the 2019 Census Report by the Department of Regulatory Agencies.
Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1208 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1208 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and please vote. Sandridge and Young. Please close the machine. With 64 aye votes, no votes, and 1 excused, House Bill 1208 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Please read the title of House Bill 1005.
House Bill 1005 by Representatives Michelson, Janae, and Van Winkle, all Senators Fields and Lundin, concerning enhancements to the Safe to Tell program.
Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1005 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1005 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members please vote. Please close the machine. With 60 aye votes, 4 no votes, and 1 excused, House Bill 1005 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Please read the title of House Bill 1130.
House Bill 1130 by Representatives Soper and Weissman, all Senators Bridges and Heisey, concerning the online availability of opinions issued by the Colorado courts.
Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1130 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us, Representative Weissman.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And, members, I think most of us know Rep. Soper is out all week. I spoke with him last week about this bill. It was his desire to go ahead and just get this over to the Senate, but I'm really just down here to give credit where it's due and to say for the record that our colleague put a lot of good work in on this, figuring out how to get it done and on what time frame and as inexpensively as possible. And as we vote on third reading, I just wanted to acknowledge that and wish him a speedy recovery, so thanks.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1130 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members, please vote. Kennedy, Humphrey, Buck. Please close the machine. With 64 aye votes, no votes, and 1 excused, House Bill 1130 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Please read the title of House Bill 1345.
House Bill 1345 by Representatives Garnett and Neville, Senators Finberg and Holbert, concerning payment of expenses of the Legislative Department.
Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1345 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1345 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members, please vote. Hooten. Please close the machine. With 53 aye votes, 10 no votes, and 2 excused, House Bill 1345 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Please read the title of House Bill 1267.
House Bill 1267 by Representative Tipper, Senator Gonzalez, concerning transparency of penal telecommunications service providers in jails in connection with making an appropriation.
Assistant Majority Leader Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1267 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1267 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members, please vote. Exum and Van Winkle. Please close the machine. With 42 aye votes, 21 no votes, and 2 excused, House Bill 1267 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Please read the title of House Bill 1212.
House Bill 1212 by Representatives Landgraf and Caravale, Senator Todd, concerning the continuation of the regulation of naturopathic doctors in connection with implementing the recommendations contained in the 2018 Census Report of the Department of Regulatory Agencies.
Assistant Majority Leader Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1212 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1212 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members, please vote. Tipper, please close the machine. With 64 aye votes, no votes, and 1 excused, House Bill 1212 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Please read the title of House Bill 1236.
House Bill 1236 by Representatives Lontine and Will, also known as State and Bridges, concerning a health care coverage enrollment program that uses information gathered from state individual income tax returns to aid uninsured individuals in obtaining health care coverage.
Assistant Majority Leader Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1236 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1236 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and please vote. Humphrey. Please close the machine. With 43 aye votes, 21 no votes, and 1 excused, House Bill 1236 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Please read the title of House Bill 1228.
House Bill 1228 by Representative Froelich, also known as Danielson, concerning forensic medical evidence of sexual assault and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Assistant Majority Leader Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1228 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1228 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and please vote. McKean. Tipper. Please close the machine. With 64 aye votes, 0 no votes, and 1 excused, House Bill 1228 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Please read the title of House Bill 1294.
House Bill 1294 by Representative Lontine, also known as Gonzalez, concerning replacing the term illegal alien with unauthorized worker as it relates to public contracts with services.
Assistant Majority Leader Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1294 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1294 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members, please vote. Holtorf and Humphrey. Please close the machine. With 43 aye votes, 21 no votes, 1 excused, House Bill 1294 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Please read the title of House Bill 1003.
House Bill 1003 by Representatives Roberts and Rich, also Senators Donovan and Scott, concerning modifications to the Rural Jumpstart Zone Act and in connection with making appropriation.
Assistant Majority Leader Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1003 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1003 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and please vote. Please close the machine. With 51 aye votes, 13 no votes, and 1 excused, House Bill 1003 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Please read the title of Senate Bill 136.
Senate Bill 136 by Senator Moreno, House Representative Arndt, concerning an omnibus bill containing recommendations of the Statutory Revision Committee related to the committee's statutory charge.
Assistant Majority Leader Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 136 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 136 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members please vote. Sandridge. Please close the machine. With 63 aye votes, 1 no vote, 1 excused, Senate Bill 136 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Please read the title of House Bill 1196.
House Bill 1196 by Representatives Hooten and McCluskey, House Senator Spenberg, and Lee, concerning updates to the laws governing mobile home parks.
Assistant Majority Leader Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1196 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1196 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members please vote. Garnett, Buck, Humphrey. Please close the machine. With 41 aye votes, 22 no votes, and 2 excused, House Bill 1196 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Please read the title of House Bill 1183.
House Bill 1183 by Representative Mullicoff, Senator Janal, concerning the continuation certification of nurse aides by the State Board of Nursing in connection with the recommendations contained in 2018 so to appropriate the Department of the Regulatory Agencies.
Assistant Majority Leader Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1183 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1183 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and please vote. Humphrey. Please close the machine. With 46 aye votes, 17 no votes, and 2 excused, House Bill 1183 is passed. Co-sponsors. Hi. Representative Baisley would like his name removed as co-sponsor to House Bill 1183. I know, actually, you should be the one to announce it. You come down and do it.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I request that my name be removed as co-sponsor to 1183.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Please close the machine. Please read the title of House Bill 1223.
House Bill 1223 by Representative Escar, House Senators Todd and Heisey, concerning the creation of the Rural Arts Grant Program in connection with making an appropriation.
Assistant Majority Leader Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1223 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1223 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members please vote. Valdez McKean. Please close the machine. With 48 aye votes, 16 no votes, and 1 excused, House Bill 1223 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Please read the title of House Bill 1230.
House Bill 1230 by Representative Singer and Larson, also Senator Fields, concerning the continuation of the Occupational Therapy Practice Act and in connection with the recommendations contained in the 2018 Social Report by the Department of the Agencies.
Assistant Majority Leader Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1230 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1230 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine. Members, please vote. Van Winkle. Please close the machine. With 64 aye votes, no votes, and 1 excused, House Bill 1230 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Please read the title of House Bill 1307.
House Bill 1307 by Representatives Harrod and Soper, also known as Tate and Bridges, concerning banning the use of a panic defense unless the party can show its relevance to the court.
Assistant Majority Leader Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1307 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1307 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Randall, please open the machine. Members, please vote. Jackson and Sandridge, please close the machine. With 45 aye votes, 19 no votes, and 1 excused, House Bill 1307 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. That brings us to general order, second reading of bills. Representative Kraft-Art. You all have heard the motion. Representative Kraft-Art will take the chair.
The committee will come to order. With your unanimous consent, the bills will be read by title unless there is a request for reading a bill at length. Committee amendments will not be read unless requested, as they are printed and they are in your bill folders. Floor amendments will be shown on the screen and on your iPads and not read unless requested. Bills will be laid over upon the motion of the majority leader. And finally, coats and ties are relaxed. Let's go. Mr. Randall, let's read the title to House Bill 1072.
House Bill 1072 by Representatives Arndt and Sane, House Senators Sondenberg and Bridges, concerning requirement that the University of Colorado study potential uses of emerging technologies to more effectively manage Colorado's water supply in connection with the making appropriation condition on the receipt of making funds from gift grants and donations.
Representative Arndt.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1072 and the Appropriations Committee report.
To the Appropriations Committee report.
I would like to offer L003 to the committee report and ask that.
And L003 is properly displayed. Please describe the amendment.
Thank you. L003 is an amendment to the committee report that says that we are going to split the $20,000 for Colorado State University and $20,000 for CU. We just couldn't decide between the two, so we thought we'd split it.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on L003? Seeing none, all those in favor of L003 say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. L003 passes. To the appropriations report.
Thank you. In the committee, we also amended it. Was a technical, pretty much technical amendment, just to make sure the money was coming out of the right pocket place. And I urge an aye vote on the committee report.
Any further discussion on the committee report? Seeing none, all those in favor of the Appropriations Committee report say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The Appropriations Committee report passes. To the bill, Representative Sane.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And before we discuss the bill, I'd like to move L002. And
okay, 1 second. Guys, I can't hear Representative Sane.
That's
okay,
a first.
Representative Sane.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move L002 and ask it to be properly displayed.
And L002 is very properly displayed. Thank you, Representative Sane.
Excellent. So as we talk about the bill, this provides an extra context that is extremely, extremely important, that any feasibility studies or pilot deployments made pursuant to this section, any recommendations, administrative legislative action must promote the use of technologies considered taking account of the existing system of prior appropriation under the state constitution and Colorado water law. Very, very important. So I ask for a yes vote.
Thank you. Any further discussion on L002? Seeing none, all those in favor of L002, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. L002 passes. To the bill, Representative Sane.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And so we started this discussion out on Friday, but I just want to describe some of the emerging technologies that this bill is considering, like in situ sensors to monitor surface and groundwater use, direct or remote sensors to monitor water quality, cellular and satellite telemetry systems allowing remote access to sensor data, aerial observation platforms, including high-altitude balloons, unmanned aerial vehicles, satellite-based remote sensing and water source resource forecasting technologies, and blockchain-based documentation, communication, and authentication of data regarding water use, trading, and conservation. And this is to promote the reliability of data and underlying water rights transactions and improve confidence in the system.
Thank you. Any further discussion on House Bill 1072? Seeing none, all those in favor of House Bill 1072, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. House Bill 1072 passes. Mr. Randall, let's go ahead and read the title to House Bill 1216.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1216 one day.
Upon request of the Assistant Majority Leader, House Bill 1216 will be laid over. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1001.
House Bill 1001 by Representatives Mullica and Larson, all Senators Bridges and Priola, concerning nicotine product regulation.
Representative Mullica.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1001 and the Health and Insurance Committee report and Finance,
Health insurance first.
Appropriations.
Health insurance and then appropriations.
Okay, to the health and insurance report. To the appropriations report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Appropriations Committee report, we had just appropriated money for this bill.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, the question for us is the adoption of the Appropriations Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Appropriations Committee report is adopted. Representative Mullica to the Health and Insurance report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We do have some amendments to the Health and Insurance Committee report. With that being said, I would like to move Amendment L007 and ask that it be properly displayed.
L007 is, may I have a copy, please?
This was over a page, Madam Chair. It was placed on
Oh, I
everyone's
see.
desk.
Okay, so this amendment has been placed on everyone's desk. It is properly displayed and before us. Representative Mullica, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. L007 did some technical cleanups just for consistency in regards to the retailers. We wanted to make sure that we were being consistent with liquor laws as well. Just some cleanup, making sure that we also address some concerns with our cigar bars. And so there's just a lot of technical cleanups.
Is there any further discussion on Amendment L007? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of Amendment L007. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. L007 is adopted. Representative Mullica.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move Amendment L008 and ask that it be properly displayed.
Amendment L008 has been moved and is properly displayed and before us. Representative Mullica.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Amendment L008 was done with stakeholding, making sure that we can address some of the concerns that we had. And so what this does is allows for employees of a licensee to deliver these products so that we can make sure that they're getting out to people who may not be able to come into the store, but we still address the concern that these stay within the chain of custody of the licensee. And so I would ask for a yes vote.
Is there any further discussion on Amendment L008? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of Amendment L008. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. L008 is adopted. Representative Mullica.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move Amendment L012 to the committee report and ask that it be properly displayed.
Amendment L012 has been moved and is displayed and before us. Please proceed, Representative Mullica.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, this was some stakeholding that we did. We wanted to make sure that we were targeting the right people, and that's making sure that we're keeping these vaping products out of our youth's hands. This specifically speaks to cigar bars that also have a casino license to allow them to have another affirmative defense, a second affirmative defense, so that they are not at risk of losing their business. And I would ask for a yes vote.
Any further discussion on Amendment L012? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of Amendment L012. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. L012 is adopted. Representative Mullica.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That's all the amendments that I have currently to the committee report. On the committee report, we did pass some amendments in health and insurance. Those amendments were specifically done from stakeholding. We worked on making sure that we took the look-back period from 36 months down to 24 months, which is something that some of the stakeholders wanted. We wanted to clarify that 18 to 21-year-olds are still able to handle these products without being in violation. We put an affirmative defense in there for the retailers, one affirmative defense every 24 months. We allow for the vending machines and licensing gaming establishments. And then we also added language to allow for the coordination between locals and state to make it more efficient and effective.
Is there any further discussion on the committee report? Representative Williams and Representative Geithner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If you recall, members, when we had a debate on the committee report initially, Representatives Geithner and myself offered an amendment to take care of lung cancer screening for minors, and we we saw that it passed last time, and because of what occurred, essentially stripped it off during the last second, so we wanted to offer it again. And so with that, members, we move L016 and ask that it be displayed.
Amendment L016 has been properly moved and is displayed and before us. Please proceed, Representative Geithner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And so, members, if you recall, when we were here last week, this simply sets aside a certain amount of the fines collected, the penalties collected for the possible screening reimbursement for screening of lung cancer for minors. I would urge a yes vote. Thank you very much, members.
Representative Melton.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. While this does have noble intent, I think, I would ask for a no vote. And let me explain why. Where the funds go right now, under statute, I'm reading from 44-7-107. I've learned from Weissman very well. These go to programs designated to develop training materials for retailers related to the prohibition of sales of cigarettes, tobacco products, or nicotine products to minors, or to programs designed to prevent the use of cigarettes, tobacco products, or nicotine products by minors. So we're going to take money that's currently going to making sure that we're getting nicotine products out of the hands of kids, and we're going to put it towards screening. Now, again, screening sounds like it's a noble thing, but in most children, screening is almost pointless. You're not going to find anything by screening a kid that's only maybe been smoking for a year or two. It's not going to be until they've had years of exposure to smoke that screening would actually be beneficial. So really, this is going to be set aside in a fund, basically a slush fund, that will sit there and just gather because no one's going to be able to really utilize those funds towards what they're intended for, and will take away from educating kids about the harmful uses of tobacco use. I would ask for a no vote.
Representative Mullica.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to thank the sponsors for bringing this up, too. I think that it's coming from a good place. I think that this is probably not the vehicle for it right now, and I just want to again, thank you and let you know that I am committed to working with you on that in the future if this is something that you want to work on in the future. But I just don't think that this is the vehicle for it right now. But thank you for bringing it, and I think that it's something that we should continue to talk about.
Any further discussion on Amendment L016? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of Amendment L016. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. No. The noes have it. L016 is lost. Representative Mullica, to the bill. To the committee report. Any further discussion on the committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Health and Insurance Committee report is adopted. To the bill. Representative Larson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At the risk of repeating my long-winded explanation on Friday, if you have any questions, please refer to the comments on Friday. But it is a good bill, and please vote yes. And thank you for letting us come before you a second time.
Any further discussion? Mr. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, I just urge a no vote on this bill. I get it that the federal government's already done this, but now we're putting it in our statute and actually, I mean, I just look at this. I remember being in Iraq and serving with 19, 20-year-olds and saying that those folks can't buy a can of dip when they get home just seems a little outlandish to me. So for that reason, I urge a no vote.
Representative Gray.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And to that same point, I'm going to be a yes vote on this bill, and I have been before. Mostly because there's some stuff in here that I think is really good, and the federal government has done what it's done. I do think, as a group, to the minority leader's point, I do think we should spend more time thinking about the way we treat people who are between the ages of 16 and 20 in this state. Because if you're a 16-year-old who commits a terrible crime, we'll charge you as an adult, and we'll say, that 16-year-old, that was an adult crime, so we're going to charge you for that, and we're going to send you to prison like you're an adult. And then we're going to tell that same person, we treat you as an adult at 16 years of age, but when you're 20, we can't let you make your own decisions about whether or not you buy cigarettes. And the reason I think that we have that degree of striking inconsistency is that those folks aren't here. Nobody in this room voting today is between the ages of 16 and 20. And so on both of those ends, and also to speak, not to get into signing a legally binding contract or serving in the military, those folks aren't here right now. And so it makes us feel better to have more consequences on younger people because they're not here and we place it on them. And we have fewer privileges for them because we also feel like we're accomplishing something, but we're not making any sacrifice ourselves. So we're asking folks who, again, are legal adults, who can serve in the military, who can sign contracts, and who can be charged with adult crimes to make an additional sacrifice and give up their right to do something because we feel like it's a way to address this. But again, there's no shared sacrifice in this room while we do that. So again, I voted yes on this bill in committee. I'm going to vote for the bill again because, yeah, probably it doesn't have that much of an effect. But I do think beyond this bill, we do need to actually ask ourselves how we're treating folks between the ages of 16 and 20. Sure, when you're an adult is arbitrary, but it's not particularly fair to say you're an adult for consequences when you're 16 and you're not yet an adult for privileges when you're 20. Thank you.
Representative Kraft-Tharp.
Thank you. So I am coming up to speak against the bill. I do believe that we need to keep nicotine products out of the hands of our minors. I want to remind you all that in 2004, our voters approved Amendment 35, which is a tax increase on cigarettes, and that money since 2004 has been used to keep tobacco products out of the hands of our minors. That's what we're using it for. We have a 92% compliance rate. I absolutely agree that we need to keep vaping products out of the hands of our minors. According to our fiscal analysts, we have a 54% compliance rate. So while we talk about how terrible it is, 54% doesn't really enter in that terrible rate, but we certainly could utilize the methods that we're using on Amendment 35. So for those reasons, I think that we're on a good track. When I have talked to the vaping people, what they have said to me is the biggest problem that they have is parents that are coming in and buying the vaping products for their kids because they think that it's good. It's a good product. It helps their kids not smoke. So somehow or another, I don't think that licensing retailers and putting a licensing fee on there, increasing the penalty fees on our shops is going to stop parents from going into the stores to be able to buy vaping products for their kids. Let's do our solution based on our problem. Thank you.
Representative Liston.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Members, I rise in opposition to House Bill 1001, and I'm sure that the sponsors are well-intentioned to doing this, but I've been out here over the last several weeks speaking to a lot of my constituents. It has something to do with ballot access that I won't get into, where they have to sign their name, but that's another point. But when I've been out speaking to my constituents, I can't make this up. Not one of them, not one, has ever raised the issue. Gosh, Representative Liston, would you go down and vote for legislation to outlaw tobacco products for young adults that are between roughly 18 and 21? Not one of them. Their primary interests of all the things that we talk about in here, fix our roads, let's put money on transportation, let's put money in education. Let's try and fix some of the health care issues and a sundry of other things. But probably on a scale of 1 to 100, this bill has probably got to be at 101. It's way, way down. People aren't interested in it. And for our good young men and women who are out there protecting our country, I can't imagine that they've come back from Iraq or Afghanistan or somewhere else after being deployed and they're 19 or 20 years old and they say, I want to go and I think I want to have a cigarette or whatever, and we have to tell them no. So I am a definite no on this bill, and I encourage my colleagues to vote no as well. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of House Bill 1001. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. 1001 is adopted. Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1073 one day.
House Bill 1073 has been laid over one day upon the request of the Assistant Majority Leader.
To find the Majority Leader.
And Mr. Assistant.
McKean, are you ready if I pull you out of order? Okay, Snyder here.
Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to lay over Senate Bill 78 one bill.
Senate Bill 78 will be laid over one bill upon the request of the Assistant Majority Leader. Mr. Randall, let's go ahead and read the title to Senate Bill 86.
Senate Bill 86 by Senators Williams and Holbert, also Representatives Snyder and McKean, considering crimes associated with the expiration of legal authority to sell alcohol beverages in connection with authorizing the Executive Director of the Department of Revenue to notify alcohol beverage license even as an expired license by any reasonable means as determined by rule and to establish a fee for renewal applications for license and permit renewals for alcohol beverages and fermented malt beverages.
Thank you. Representative Snyder.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move Senate Bill 86.
And to the bill.
Thank you. This is actually a very good cleanup bill for the Department of Revenue. Right now, they're really statutorily controlled, all the fees they charge in that industry, and it's really led to a disproportionate increase in the fees charged for new applications for liquor licenses. So what this bill is going to do is spread that out to a more sustainable funding, so we'll create a new liquor licensing fee, a renewal fee of $50, and we'll set the application for new fees at $1,300, but it does give the fee setting in the future to the Director of the Department of Revenue.
Thank you. Representative McKean?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Has anybody noticed that the screws that hold down these microphones are all different? I don't know if y'all get that or not, but they
I think
are.
you should be to the bill, Representative McKean.
Well, the bill's on the dais and it's next to the microphone. However, this is actually important. We do not want to lay all the responsibility on new permit applicants. We need to make sure that we have the most adjustable scale that we have, and also that we spread the cost of doing all of this across both the renewals and the new applicants.
Thank you. Representative Snyder.
And one final point is a good part of this bill is it really opens up electronic filing for all types of licenses. So right now it's currently required to be done with certified mail, a very antiquated system. So it really makes it ease of convenience, practical, and for business, and we ask for your support.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 86? Seeing none. The question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 86. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Senate Bill 86 passes. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to lay over Senate Bill 78 two bills, please.
We want to move it two bills? Upon the request of the Majority Leader, Senate Bill 78 will be moved two bills. Mr. Arnold, let's read the title of House Bill 1221.
House Bill 1221 by Representative Kennedy, also Senators Zenzinger and Smallwood, concerning expansion of the complementary alternative medicine pilot program for a person with an injury that results in paralysis.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1221 one day till Tuesday, March 10th.
House Bill 1221 will be laid over one day till Tuesday, March 10th, upon the request of the Majority Leader. Mr. Reynolds, let's read House Bill 1179. Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1179 one day.
Upon the request of the Assistant Majority Leader, House Bill 1179 will be laid over one day. Okay, Mr. Randall, let's try this. Read it really fast, okay? Let's do House Bill 1302.
No, we're on 78.
Mr. Majority Leader. He wants attention first. No? Okay. Mr. Randall, let's read the title to Senate Bill 78.
Senate Bill 78 by Senator Donovan, also Representative Garnett, concerning the ability of a person to bring a pet dog onto the premises of a restaurant.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move Senate Bill 78.
And so tell us about this bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We had to lay it over a few bills because I want to make sure that the TV cameras had enough time to get into the chamber. But members, this is a really important bill. This bill is
Mr. Majority Leader, please, in all seriousness, to the bill.
Madam Chair. To the bill. Members, this is in this case that happens very often where county attorneys in adjacent contiguous counties may not know that dogs can be on patios. This happens all the time. This is a very important bill. This is going to help Colorado become the #1 state in the entire union for our preference of puppies, and I would urge an aye vote.
Okay, Mr. Majority Leader. Representative Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Majority Leader, for bringing this bill. Members, no one loves dogs more than me. And at the risk of getting myself in the doghouse with animal rights organizations and the Majority Leader, I do want to explain my no vote and my opposition to this bill. It seems to me, and I appreciate the Majority Leader's desire to, create a belts and suspenders type situation here, but restaurant owners are pretty much already allowed to do this, and counties and municipalities can put their own prohibitions in place already. So this bill does kind of seem redundant to me. But nevertheless, I guess I do understand the plight of the Majority Leader here and the desire to find a way to further our love for animals. And so in that regard, I'll be voting no, but obviously, I guess vote your conscience. I don't know.
Very persuasive, Representative Williams. Thank you. Representative Sane.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to point out something very important that this bill is going to provide for those restaurants that already allow dogs. A person who brings a pet dog in an outdoor dining area in accordance with this section is responsible for the behavior of that dog. Kind of important, actually. This bill does help this issue, and I will vote yes on it.
Thank you, Representative Sane. Any other discussion on Senate Bill 78? Representative Sane.
And to that effect, Madam Chair, I'm going to run L003 and ask it to be properly displayed.
Thank you. L003 is properly displayed. Yeah, I don't think this fits under the title, Representative Sane.
What?
But thank you very much. The chair can make a title ruling without a request. Representative Garnett, did you want to comment on this?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I see this as a friendly amendment. I want to thank Representative Sane for moving L003. This just highlights, again, why Colorado is going to be one of the leading states in the union when it comes to our treatment of dogs. Because it highlights the dogs that are in our capital.
You want this on your bill, Representative Garnett?
It's a friendly, yeah.
Okay, you're going to get it on your bill. Is there any further discussion on L003? Seeing none. Representative Escar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There might be some dogs missing. My dog's names aren't on this amendment.
I think you should do an amendment, Representative Escar. Any further discussion on this L003? Seeing none, all those in favor of L003 say yes. All those opposed, no. L003 passes, which I do not understand why the sponsor wanted it, but they did. We're back to the bill, Representative Melton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, as a doghouse dim, I have to say that this is one of the best bills that we've passed this year. You know, I was just watching Disney Plus the other day, and there was a movie about these two dogs in the alley eating spaghetti, and they couldn't use the patio. So, members, I rise in strong support for this bill on behalf of myself, Representative Salazar, and all the doghouse dims. Yes.
Representative Melton, you're going to be the first one I gavel down today. Any further discussion on Senate Bill 78? Representative Valdez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to have one question. to the bill sponsor, when he went out for his birthday dinner this weekend, did you take Cleopatra with you?
Aww. Okay, any further discussion on Senate bill? Representative Wilson. We're to the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This won't be an amendment. I appreciate Representative Sane pointing out that the dog owners will be responsible. I just wanted to point out that last week out here in the lobby, a dog owner's dog urinated on our carpet.
Yes.
I'm not real sure that dogs need to be everywhere the humans are. So along with Representative Williams, I was one of the no votes on that, and I just wanted to let you know that the WW boys were opposed to that. I also heard that we need to provide for our best friend when we dine out. And I pointed out in the committee meeting that my best friend is my wife, and we choose not to dine with dogs. And the other piece was, it was pointed out that dogs are territorial and defensive, and so am I. So I will be a no vote on this.
Representative Sandridge.
Thank you, Mrs. Chair. And these comments are for Dewey. All right. So I'm in favor of this bill. It's a great bill. What it does is it protects the businesses. Right now, there's not certain rules or laws within our statutes. So what this bill does, it puts it in statute and saying that businesses can, if they choose, to have dogs on their patio. So it offers some type of protective measure on them that if something bad does happen, it will push the liability more on to the owner of the pet than the business. So this is a pro-business bill. And when it's a pro-business bill, that means it's a jobs bill. And it's an anti-discrimination bill. We must end the discrimination of pets, of dogs in this state. Let's end it today. Vote yes.
Thank you, Representative. Any further discussion on Senate Bill 78? Seeing none. All those in favor? The question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 78. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. Senate Bill 78 passes. Mr. Randall, let's read the title of House Bill 1302.
House Bill 1302 by Representative Lontine concerning changes to improve the protection services for at-risk adults.
Thank you, Representative Lontine.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1302 and the Public Health Committee report.
To the Public Health Care and Committee report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we had a couple of updates to the introduced bill and made some changes in the Public Health Committee. One was to update the harmful act definition, so we're making it clear the act is committed against an at-risk adult, so it cannot be misconstrued to mean that something that the adult person or person with IDD did of their own free will or with their consent. Adds willfully to the misdemeanor related to providing access to APS. Previously, the bill providing an example from CAPS checks to healthcare agencies that provide care to primarily pediatric patients and birthing centers. So recognizing that there are more complexities to this, we're removing that exemption and leaving this portion of the statute as it is currently written. We increased the time of check from 2 weeks to 30 days and clarifying the time starts during the hiring process rather than the time of the employee's application. Adds volunteer to 2 places where statute refers to employee requirements so that employers are requesting the ability to check volunteers. This is a may, not a shall. Adds statutory reference for the Office of Public Guardianship and adds conforming statute changes for IDD statutes to reflect changes to sexual abuse and exploitation definitions, and I ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on the committee report? Seeing none, all those in favor of the Public Health Care Committee report, please say aye. Those opposed, no. The Public Health Care Committee report passes. To the bill, Representative.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and as always, I do enjoy hearing from the Minority Leader. I would like to I would move L003 to the bill.
Thank you. And L003 is properly displayed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So a couple more things. I mean, this is a continuing process. We want to make sure that we get this right. And so what L003 does is changes our definitions of harmful act. We're continuing to modify that. We're striking the request to provide contact information for ex-employees. And we're requiring compliance with HIPAA and other privacy laws. And we're striking the misdemeanor portion of this as well. So with that, I ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion of L003? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of L003. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. L003 passes. To the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Several years ago, I ran the bill that created our updated and modernized our ability to check up on folks who care for our at-risk adults. This is known as the CAP system, checks for adult protective services. And so we had situations where we had people in the care of folks who maybe shouldn't be taking care of people who were vulnerable. And we had no way to determine whether or not they were really safe to take care of those folks. And so we put the CAPS system in place so that employers could check folks out so that these folks had a due process should an allegation be made against them to determine whether those allegations were credible, and for employers to be able to check that when we do have credible findings against those folks. So this is an update of that system. There were a couple holes that we saw that we were just trying to make sure that we, after a year of implementation, that we were taking care of, and further refinement of the system, and I ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Any further discussion on House Bill 1302? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1302. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. House Bill 1302 passes. Oh, Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to lay over Senate Bill 87 one day.
Senate Bill 87 will be laid over one day upon request of the Assistant Majority Leader. And for the last bill of the day, Mr. Randall, let's read House Bill 1170.
House Bill 1170 by Representative Humphrey, also Senator Marble, considering authorization to drive military vehicles on roadways.
Representative Humphrey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I'm pleased to be joined by Representative Donald Valdez as well, who we do intend to add.
Representative Valdez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1170 and the Transportation Local Government.
To the Transportation Local Government report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Representative Humphrey and myself, we worked on this bill to make sure that we can also bring in and clarify the amendment going back to 1980 and earlier, and so that the military vehicles can be utilized in this. And ask for a yes on the committee report.
Any further discussion? Representative Humphrey.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. And essentially, the committee report is the bill. And I thank Rep. Valdez for his work on this and for the committee's input. And essentially what we're dealing with now, as opposed to on the introduced bill, is preserving some ability in the state for folks to get a plate on a historical military vehicle. And whereas that's not nearly what it was at the beginning of the discussion, it's still a vast improvement over these vehicles not being allowed on roadways whatsoever. And so I appreciate your attention.
Any further discussion on the committee report? Representative Valdez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This utilizes and registers historic military vehicles on highways to and from assemblies, conventions, and other meetings where historical military vehicles and their ownerships are the primary interest. For special occasions of operation of the vehicle on highways to and from local and state and national tours held primarily for the exhibition and enjoyment of historical military vehicles. And with that, I ask for your support.
Any further discussion on the committee report? Representative Catlin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's an honor to serve with you.
Yes, Representative Catlin, it's an honor to serve with you.
Yes, ma'am, I would like to offer an amendment to the committee report. If I could get it to be shown.
I think it will be properly displayed in just a moment. And L004 is properly displayed.
Thank you.
Representative Catlin.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Oh, you need to move the amendment, though?
I'm here to move Amendment L004 to House Bill 1170.
Okay, to the, actually, you're moving it to the committee report, not to the House bill.
Correct. I'm moving it to amend the committee report.
Okay, go describe your amendment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. What this amendment will do is, in committee, we talked about these vehicles being 1980 or older. If we put that number in the bill, that's as far forward as some of these collectible and military vehicles would be able to have value. What this amendment will do is to move that forward so that the vehicles have to be 40 years or older. And that will continue to move forward, which will allow people to maintain and save these vehicles for posterity. I'd ask for a yes vote.
Any further discussion on L004? Representative Gray.
I appreciate the laughter. Thank you, members, and I respect my colleague very much. I'd ask for a no vote on this. When this bill was introduced, it was opposed by both the State Patrol and the Department of Transportation on safety grounds. Representative Humphrey and Representative Valdez have done a very good job of coming up with a compromise that is reflected in the committee report, and therefore I'd ask for a no vote. I appreciate the sentiment, but I would ask for a no vote on this amendment.
Any further discussion on L004? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of L004. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. L004 fails. Representative Pelton.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I would like to offer Amendment L005 and have it displayed.
Thank you. This is L005 to the committee report, and it is properly displayed. Please describe. What?
I didn't move it. So.
Yeah. Do move it.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move L005 to the committee report.
And now describe it.
Thank you. This is taking the word primary out to where it can be used, these vehicles could be used for more than just going to a parade or to a funeral or something like that. Give it a little bit of a broader base use for these vehicles. And so with that, I'd request an aye vote.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Representative Gray.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Very similarly, again, there's been extensively stakeholdered, and the State Patrol and CDOT are okay with this bill in the version it is right now, but not signed off on this, and so I'd ask for a no vote.
Any further discussion on L005? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of L005. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. L005 fails. Representative, who wants to talk? Are we? So the question before us is the passage of the committee report. All those in favor of the committee report, please say aye. Those no? If you oppose, no. The Transportation and Committee report passes. And now we are to the bill. Okay, the question, any further discussion on the bill? Representative Liston.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Members, I rise in support of House Bill 1170. Just to kind of give you a little perspective, there is a place out in eastern El Paso County, I believe it's in Representative Geithner's district, called Dragon Man, and he has a very, very extensive collection of World War II memorabilia. I mean, this his museum, because that's really what it is. And he's got a huge number of military vehicles that are truly collector's items that the Smithsonian would love to have. So periodically, he would bring out one of his military vehicles, and they're all fully functional and so forth. And it's just really kind of a shout out for those that are history buffs to see these vehicles, these military vehicles, in Representative Geithner's district. I would encourage you to go to the Dragon Man. I believe it's a shooting range as well, which I've been there. But you should go see his museum of military memorabilia at the Dragon Man facility.
Come a little
so I
closer
rise
to
in
the
support. Thank you, Madam Chairman. Woman.
Thank you. Any further discussion on House Bill 1170? Representative Holdorf.
Thank you, Madam Chair. With respect to this bill, I'm in support of this bill, and I want to talk a little bit about some concerns that have been asked about the military vehicles and military vehicle safety. With respect to modern military vehicles, the crash attenuation and the armor and safety specifications far exceed any standards that we have on any commercial or privately owned vehicles. These military vehicles are complete with all lighting considerations. In fact, they have enhanced lighting considerations for operations in obscure and in blackout drive conditions. But those particular safety considerations for the modern vehicles and many older vehicles, they are in compliance with these things. They do have bumpers. They do have safety belts. They have many, many safety design specifications. Even so far as now we have vehicles in the inventory, in the military inventory, that have high explosive attenuation design considerations that from the engineering design standpoint are absolutely amazing when you consider what they do to protect the occupants of these vehicles. So I just want to let people know that as we consider the use of these military vehicles, particularly the newer and modernized vehicles, their safety considerations are very, very significant. And I just wanted to mention that too as I talk in support of the bill. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Anybody want to do it? Representative Geithner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, I rise in full support of this bill. I appreciate the words from my colleague, Representative Liston, regarding specifically Dragon Man. You know, a lot of these vehicles, they do make their appearance specifically in parades and such, and especially on 4th of July, which will happen shortly after our session adjourns for the year. To bring these vehicles out, to have them drive from the place where the vehicle resides all the way to the start of the parade line and then back without having to be towed or conveyed some other way is definitely a huge benefit because that just adds one more layer of complexity. So members, I would urge you to vote yes on this bill. Let's go ahead and make sure that these vehicles have the ability to be seen in and around town so that you know, children and those that have actually ridden in these vehicles can actually look back with you know, some nostalgia and some fondness. So thank you, members. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Representative Will.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to stand and rise in support of this bill as well. My concern is with a lot of these military vehicles in my district that are being used to haul water. We kind of addressed that with the firefighting, but there's a lot of residences in my district that don't have water wells. They have cisterns and they have to have water to live to them, and these old Army 6x6s are doing the hauling. They are licensed and registered in the state and allowed on the roadways, and I want to keep it that way because they're hauling anywhere from 8 to 12,000 gallons per load. They've used some of the old Kenworths and more modern vehicles, and the frames crack on them. And these military vehicles stand up to the rough roads with those heavy loads. So I just want to stand in support of this and make sure that those vehicles that are currently being used, that are under inspection, can continue to be so. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Valdez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I ask for your support on this bill, House Bill 1170, and ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Representative Humphrey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good bill. Vote yes. Thank you to those who ran amendments. I appreciate the thoughtfulness, but as it is, we're still doing a good thing for those who own these military vehicles. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1170. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. House Bill 1170 passes. Representative Gray. Before you do that, Representative Gray, let's everybody say hello to the school class that's joined us. Representative Gray.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
You have heard the motion. Seeing no objection, the committee will rise and report.
The House will come back to order. I'm just glad I didn't get your fingers. Mr. Randall, please read the report of the committee of the whole.
Madam Speaker, the committee will basically reported has on provided following attached bills being several of the next four recommendations are on House Bill 1001 is amended, House Bill 1072 is amended, House Bill 1170 is amended, House Bill 111302 is amended, passed second reading, place count for third reading, final passage, Bill 78 is amended, Senate Bill 86 passed second reading, revised, place count for third reading, final passage, House Bill 1073, House Bill 1179, House Bill 1216, House Bill 1221, and Senate Bill 87 are laid over until tomorrow, March 10th, 2020, retaining their place on the counter.
Representative Kraftart. You all have heard the motion. There's one amendment at the desk. Mr. Randall, please read the Williams amendment.
Representative Williams moved to amend the report of the committee will reverse the action taken by the committee and not adopting the following Geithner and Williams Amendment L016 to House Bill 1001, so it didn't pass that House Bill 1001 as amended passed.
Representative Williams.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the Williams Amendment and ask for a yes vote.
Is there any other discussion? Representative Mullenka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I appreciate Representative Williams' thoughts and Representative Geithner's thoughts on this, and I think it's something that we can continue to work on. I just don't think that this bill is the vehicle for that, and so I'd ask for a no vote, please.
The question before us is the Williams Amendment to the report of the Committee of the Whole. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please vote. Buckner, Froelich, Herod, Sullivan. Representative Buckner is excused and Representative Herod is excused. Please close the machine. With 27 aye votes, 34 no votes, and 4 excused, the Williams Amendment is lost. That brings us back to the report of the Committee of the Whole. Is there any further discussion? Please open the machine and please vote. Bachenfeld, Jackson, Landgraf, Alex Valdez. Please close the machine. With 41 aye votes, 20 no votes, and 4 excused, the report of the Committee of the Whole is adopted. That brings us to announcements and introductions. Representative Valdez D.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to remind everybody that tomorrow's aerospace here at the Capitol. Hope to see you there. And if you have see anybody with aerospace, please invite them to come. Thanks.
Representative Will.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This might be a little late because it's the Colorado Rural Electric Association wanted to invite everyone to lunch today, March 9th here, but it's a little past lunch now. But it's down at the Little Italy, 16th Street Mall. They'd like you to join them if you can. Thank you.
Representative Esgar.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, on your calendar, it says JBC will meet upon adjournment. We're actually going to just hold off until 1:30 because I think the Senate still might be taking care of some business. Also, check your calendars. Friday appropriations list is on your calendars. See if you have a bill on there. We'll be meeting at 8 a.m. on Friday.
Representative Landgraf.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wanted to remind everybody to go see the vets from Bunker Labs out there and see what they are producing.
Representative Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Energy and Environment Committee, we have 4 bills, 167, Senate Bill 167, House Bill 1180 is for action only, Senate Bill 38, we will not be hearing today, House Bill 1119, and House Bill 1265, which is available for remote testimony. I'll see ya.
Representative Roberts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have 2 announcements. All members, there's a breakfast hosted and presentation hosted by Water Education Colorado, Colorado River District, and others tomorrow morning at 7:45 downstairs in Committee Room 112. Lots of great presenters about water. And then Rural Affairs and Agriculture Committee, we have 3 bills this afternoon. We added 1, so please be mindful that we're adding Senate Bill 3 to the top of the calendar, and then we'll hear 1327 and Senate Bill 155.
Representative Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Majority Leader Garnett, front and center.
Capitol Choir.
I know, dude. I was not going to let you sneak away.
I put that down on your desk.
Thank you. Come on, Capitol Choir.
Would the Capitol Choir please join us up front?
Look at him. He's already changing colors. You guys ready?
You are.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Majority Leader Garnett. Happy birthday to you. He's old. He's old.
Representative Champion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want everybody to know that we have a low-carb conference here in Denver. It's the largest one in the world, actually, coming up starting this Thursday. The low-carb Denver will be scheduled as planned. The general public healthcare and non-healthcare professionals are invited. It is now in its 5th year. We'd like for you all to join us. Thank you all very much. It will be at the Sheraton, downtown Denver. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Any other announcements or introductions? Seeing none, Assistant Majority Leader Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the House stand in recess until later today.
Seeing no objection, the House will be in recess till later today.